like making muffins, pancakes. It's cornbread though. I mean, it's so easy. There's really no excuse that you don't know how to make really good cornbread. All right, we're starting with dry ingredients. Like with muffins, like with pancakes, like with so many baked goods. So we're going dry ingredients. You got flour, we've got cornmeal. I like the medium ground. The coarse stuff's too coarse for me. I'm just using Bob's Red Mill. That's what's available. And salt and sugar and baking powder, you know, recipe, description, you know where it goes. And we're gonna mix it all together. We want to well incorporate all this stuff before we incorporate our wet ingredients. So whisk it together, make sure it's like thoroughly combined. Easy, step one is done. Now we have 3 other things to add: eggs, milk, and butter, melted butter. And later on, if you were, if you're using a different recipe, there'd be a step where you grease a baking Pyrex baking dish or a piece of cast iron. We're gonna kind of accelerate that process. So we're gonna melt our butter in the cast iron. We're gonna bake our cornbread in, and just melt it down. We don't want to. I mean, it's gonna separate, but we don't want to like fry it and sizzle it. We truly do want melted butter. Don't let it sizzle, because we don't want it hot. Now, since this is done, let's go back to our bowl and we'll add our wet ingredients. But we're gonna make a little well, and we're gonna put our milk and our eggs. And I want to break up my eggs just a little bit. I'm gonna use a whisk. And break up, it's 1 egg, sorry, I say eggs. We're gonna break up our egg and mix it into the milk, and we're gonna roughly combine things just to start getting them like mixed together a little bit. And then we'll go butter, and we'll put the butter in, and we'll grab our whisk, and we wanna, you know, mix it thoroughly and make it incorporated, but we don't need to beat the heck out of this. We don't wanna overdevelop our flour, make it gummy and tough. So, you know, maybe 60 seconds worth of mixing here. Really just trying to make sure I don't have any stuff stuck at the bottom, and it's all mixed together. The butter will actually kind of shine up. It'll get real silky looking as it, you know, smooths into the batter. It is a batter, not a dough. And I decided that I needed a little bit more butter on my cast iron, so I just grabbed the stick, just rubbed it around, just so I got a nice coating, so our cornbread comes out of our cast iron later. And here we go. Let's pour in our batter. You know, scrape down your bowl with a spatula and just let it kind of settle in. And then we're going in the oven, 400 degrees, 25 minutes, maybe 20 if you've got a crazy oven, maybe 30. I think this ended up actually being in there for about like 27, 28 minutes. And then when you take it out, toothpick, and you slide toothpick in the middle. You want the toothpick to come out clean. You can absolutely undercook cornbread. You know, if you take out the toothpick and there's like gooey batter on it, it's not done. You can also overcook it. So you can cook it so much that it's just dry, and that's terrible. Nobody wants dry cornbread, no matter how much butter and honey you put on it. It won't be amazing if it's dry. So, you know, you can see the toothpick comes out clean, and we're gonna let this cool. Of course, cornbread is served best warm, but you gotta let it cool for at least an hour before you get into it. Otherwise, it's just too hot. As it cools, it's also going to like contract a little bit and separate itself from the cast iron, which will make it easier to get out of the pan later. And then we can cut it in the pan into squares, maybe 12 of them, maybe 16, how big you want them. It's up to you. You cut them how you want them. I like to drizzle, after they're cut, drizzle with honey. I mean, don't go too crazy, but just like a thin, like just to add a little extra sweetness to them, and then serve some butter on the side. That's it, easy. It's cornbread, it's done, and like, it's such a quick project.